guys, we are back for another episode. I wanted to make this one a little bit fun. As you can see, I'm trying to get back into all of the filming and video work. So pardon me while I'm dusting off some of this dust. But today I wanted it to be casual, fun, and what is not more fun than a Q&A. I've got some questions that I've been sourcing from LinkedIn, from Instagram, and just some things that I have seen on my YouTube and, other people's Instagram. So here we go. First question, where have you been? Well, if you saw the other video, which I'm in this outfit, because I just had to do another one in this, you will know that I have been managing multiple businesses, and I bought a business last year. That's pretty cool to say as a Latina entrepreneur who knows nobody who's ever bought a business, that I bought a business. And I didn't buy just any business. I bought the Kirkpatricks model. I mean, like, what the... So yeah, that is where I've been trying to get my sea legs with owning another business, and the rest and all the ups and the downs are in that video. So check it out after this one. All right. Why do you think L&D is getting laid off right now? This is really, this is a tough question for me to answer. Not because I don't have an answer, but I don't know how much this could get me in some trouble. I believe that L&D is in the hot seat because, one, there was a whole rush to turning all of our in-person online during COVID. So I think we're kind of correcting that. I think that's part of it. But then we all know that traditionally we're the first to get cut. And it's because we're really bad at business. I'll just say it. We don't speak the language of the business. We try to speak academics and theory to our business partners, our CEOs, and we don't know how to sell ourselves. And that is why I think we constantly end up on the chopping block, because we can't tell you what the value is or the return we've brought back based on that program. Nor do I think that we should base it on program, like a one and done training specifically. It should be about like a whole set and suite of things. But anyway, that's a different video that I'm doing later today. But yeah, I think we're really bad at selling ourselves and having the data to back up all of the good that we do. And the fact of the matter is that when a CEO or COO or whatever, replace those letters with something else, is speaking the language of business, and we're speaking the language of academics and education, business is always going to win. And when it's time to figure out what area to cut, it's always going to be L&D. And so I think that we need to do a better job of evaluating and measuring. I hope you use the Kirkpatrick model for that. Obviously, I am biased, but frankly, I just want you to measure and evaluate and be able to tell people all of the good that you're doing, to be able to save your department and your jobs. I don't care. At that point, I don't care what model you use, right? So, but I also care. So I think that's part of the problem. We just don't know how to sell ourselves, and we keep blaming everybody else as to the reasons why we're getting cut. But we have to first understand what's within our control. And so I think the more that we can stop designing things without thinking about the evaluation aspect of it, to be able to prove, hey, I did this, this is what you got out of it, then we're gonna continue to be on the chopping block. All right. What is the one skill you think all new IDs need? The one skill. Okay. One ID skill is writing. So the foundation, like all we do is write and communicate in some way, shape, or form. And I think we value Storyline and Rise and, the e-learning and the fancy stuff. And we don't get the fundamentals right. And just part of the reason why we have crappy instructional design out there. So writing is number one skill. Once you can get that down, then the rest is much easier. And then I would also say, like I mentioned just now, like the language of business and being able to speak business. Next question, storyline or rise? Honestly, storyline out of the two, just way more robust. And I just wish I could make rise look completely different from program to program, or like from rise module to rise module. So it's not like a telltale sign. And when I see, personally, when I see someone use rise and it's like a custom off the shelf, I'm like, oh, you used that because it was cheap and now you're going to make me pay a ton of money for it? Like, please. Thoughts on AI? I am excited for everything that AI has to bring and to build. And I think I definitely can see where it's going to come for our necks as an industry, as those like put in your PowerPoints and then AI will create the training module for you comes out. And it'll never replace the human. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity. So I am really active in trying to like learn more about it. I'm not like the best at it. I have friends that are, but that is my thoughts on it. And Kirkpatrick Partners is doing a webinar on AI and evaluation. Not sure when this video will be out, but we'll make sure that there's a link below to either register or to get the replay. Where is instructional design going? I think we are at a very crucial juncture in instructional design where a lot of us are going to continue to do what we've always done. We're going to be complaining about the same things for the next 5, 10, 15 years. And I think that there will be a faction of people that start to do things differently, because what you'll start to see is different people coming into those senior leadership roles that have been saying the same things that we have been, and valuing learning more. So I think we're kind of like at the place where people recognize that this is important and you got to get it right, but you got to find the right people, and that things can't always be done the way that they've always done. So I talk a lot about, obviously, TikTok. It's really just social media, right? Like people are paying attention to video, so do more video. People want to, why do people like video? They want to like, know, and trust you. Same principles apply to your employees. You have remote employees, you have a remote team, you want to connect, send them some videos, let them get to know you. So I would definitely say that is number one when it comes to the direction in which I think we're going. Not necessarily the social media aspect, but a way that we are more pulling, or like creating content to be pulled as opposed to constantly pushing out content, especially as we look at maybe budgets never returning back to where they were, where you used to go on like these crazy in-person retreats and stuff, which I do definitely miss that part. 5 favorite things about owning a business. One, having the flexibility to pick up my kids and, do the meet the teacher in the morning and then do filming in the afternoon. I have really found who I truly am through entrepreneurship. I never thought I was going to be an entrepreneur. I never could have dreamed of being an entrepreneur. I just didn't think it was for me. It's not what I saw around me. And so I really love business and figuring out these complex problems, and trying to make sense of them and the strategy behind it. I love creating team culture and practicing what I preach about, what employees want and growth and, doing things differently. So I'm actually applying those things to the companies that I own. I love collaborating and meeting other business owners and seeing how we could partner together, because that always brings in different, cool different things. Like just the other day, I was chatting with someone about their CRM system that they built, and it has some AI component, and then we started talking about his friend that owns this kind of like a Synthesia. And we started then just kind of creating our own little potential app situation. So all those things are really cool. And being a boss, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool and pretty fun. And it feels like me. Next question. How do you run multiple companies and have young kids? Not a lot of sleep, lots of Cuban coffee. Yeah, I think it's hard. I fail every day at something. But I also gain a lot of skills, and I gain a lot of experience that'll only help me in the future. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not for the weak. And it's certainly not for everybody. There's a lot of risk. There is no one to turn to when the checks don't clear, when the checks don't come in, but you got to pay people. And that happens, right? When you are like, crap, you got to make some really hard decisions, some gut wrenching decisions that is going to affect someone else's life and their family. And that sucks. But yeah, the young kids part, that's hard. Sometimes I wonder if I'm messing them up. But I think it's pretty cool. They get to see their mom killing it. They were just here earlier playing around with like the camera and the microphone and all of that. So yeah, I think it's definitely not for the weak, but it can be done. Let's see. Next question. You guys want the tea? What's it like working with Jim and Wendy? So Dr. Jim Kirkpatrick and Wendy Kirkpatrick were Wendy was the previous owner of Kirkpatrick Partners. Jim Jim was the owner, and then he sold his shares to her. Let's see. It's weird in like a really cool way, right? In a good way. Again, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of Don Kirkpatrick. Like, I'm talking to the son of Don Kirkpatrick, telling me all about, the last moments of his life and what it was like and what he loved. And to think about someone that you've only read it in books, like that's pretty cool. And Jim and Wendy have done so much for the industry. It's been very humbling for them to know that Wendy picked me. And it also puts a heavy weight on my shoulders to, number one, don't mess up the brand. But number two, continue on the legacy, the next 700 years, and grow it exponentially. But working with them is cool. We have, Wendy and I are very different. But that's been really cool because when we come together, she gives me a very different perspective than I wouldn't have thought of. Just a lot of great advice. And then Jim and I, we've got our own little thing going. We do the podcast together. We travel a lot together, different speaking engagements. And we're developing a product. So yeah, it's, Jim and I, we're very much alike in some ways, very different, but also very much alike in how we think and how we do things. But it hasn't always been easy, right? Because it's a new sheriff in town, but overall, really good. Why Florida? I love sun. I'm a Leo rising. So I really love the sun. And I love heat. I'm Cuban, so it's as close as I can get to Cuba without actually being there. And I just noticed that I'm a different human when I'm here. So I wanted to come back and spent half of my life with my family in New Jersey, my Spaniard side. And I felt like now was a good time to come to Florida. And I wanted the girls to grow up in a place where they could be outside more and not cooped up in the house. So we are down here, and hopefully my parents will be here soon. All right, last question. What's next? Growing the brand, figuring out the best place for Anchored and how we can be of service to our customers and really meet them where they're at. I've been toying a lot with with onboarding. Keep hearing from a lot of people that's like the number one request they get. And so I think there's a really cool thing that a spin I have to onboarding and everboarding that want to put out there. We are growing Kirkpatrick, very big. And so we're making a lot of big decisions and moves. And now that it's all, it's not done, but like everything from the past has been updated. Now we can focus on the future. And so that's really cool. And then there's the Armada Learning Network. And I'm excited to really share more about what the network is and help people be part of it. so that they can grow in more opportunities and be part of our assessment and recommended solutions. And say solutions one more time, Vanessa. And I'm excited for you guys to see Armada at DevLearn this year. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And that's next, right? Armada and DevLearn. So that would be pretty cool. And then truly what's next is more of this coffee and more of filming. So friends, thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And please let me know, what you think of the content, and I will check you all out soon. Thanks, y'all.